Al-Mutaffifin, Wailul lil-Mutaffifin. So as we mentioned before, always when you're reading a surah, you should always look at the passages of the surah, the layout, the structure of that surah. When you have the overview of the surah, it is easy for you to remember what it means. So the structure or the overview or the layout helps you with the flow of ideas that the surah is giving us. So Surah Al-Mutaffifin is a Makki surah. It has 36 ayat. It is surah number 83 in the Qur'an. So we have 114 surahs, and surah 83 is Surah Al-Mutaffifun. And the layout of this surah, there are 4 or 5 main themes or topic which are related. So the first one, at the beginning, the first passage, Allah is warning us about fraudulent deals, fraud, or defrauding others, committing financial fraud, warning about cheating in business. So that's the first passage. So Allah is warning against cheating, deceiving, fraud, deceiving others. And He explains the consequences of deceiving others in business or in any dealings. And also Allah talks about why would someone cheat in business or in transactions or in dealing with others. So that's the first passage. The second passage begins with Kalla inna kitab al-fujjar. Allah explains the destination of the disbelievers, al-fujjar, and the sinners. Al-fujjar is not only disbelievers, it includes the evildoers of the Muslims. So their destination, their punishment, and why they will end up in hellfire, what they have done in their life. So the fate of the disbelievers, and then the next passage, the fate of al-abrar. So you have al-fujjar, al-abrar. You see the contrast. So al-abrar, why they deserve Jannah, what they have done to enter Jannah, and the enjoyment they're going to have. Al-fujjar, why they entered hellfire, and the punishment, the types of punishment they will have. So these are two groups that are contrasted, compared. What they have done, why they deserve it, the enjoyment, the type of punishment. So they are the fate of this group and the fate of the disbelievers and the believers. And the conclusion of this surah is Allah says, Inna ladhina ajramu, the Quraysh of Makkah or the disbelievers at any time in this life, they mock the believers. So Allah talks about the mockery, the ridicule, how they ridicule the believers. The disbelievers and the sinners, they mock the believers. Why they mock? And subhanAllah, on the day of judgment it will be reversed. The believers will mock the disbelievers. So you see, now in this life the Muslims are vilified, demonized, dehumanized, ridiculed, but on the day of judgment is the opposite. So that's the conclusion of this surah. So at the beginning, warning about fraud, cheating, and in the middle you have the day of judgment, two groups and their destinations, and you have at the end you have the disbelievers and the believers in this life and in the next life. So that's the main passages of this surah. Now, so Surah Al-Mutaffifun, Al-Mutaffifin, what is Al-Mutaffifin? Al-Mutaffif is someone who gives less when he's giving to others, but when he's receiving, he takes the full amount, the whole amount. But when he's giving, he gives less. When he's receiving, he gives. When he's receiving, he wants full. He demands full payment, full salary, full amount. You see? Now, Allah mentions two types of measurement that was common at that time. So that time, whenever you're selling or you're paying, they will weigh things kilograms. Yeah, they will have a scale, a balance, and they will weigh it. So they have measurement and weighing. So Allah uses those two. Yeah, measurement and weighing. So kaluhum al-kayl wal-wazn. Kayl wal-wazn. Kaluhum aw-wazanuhum. So you use kayl, which is the scale, or you use al-wazn. So in our time, transactions, is not carried only through measurement and scale. We use numbers, we use size, we use length, width, we use different forms of measurement. How to pay things, we use hours, so the way to assess, to evaluate something changes. So at that time, the way they evaluate something was through measurement and weighing. Now, when we assess things, we use more than that. We use different forms of assessment. So this ayah, when Allah said they will cheat in the kayl and wazn, is not restricted only to kayl and wazn. So all transactions are carried out at that time through weighing and measurement. But in our time, it includes everything. It includes, whenever you are giving right to others, or you're receiving your right from others, wherever measurement you use to assess things, then it's included. So, for example, Allah has right over us, and we want something from Him. Sometimes we are mutaffifin when it comes to the right of Allah. So you will find someone who is committing tatfif in his salah. Sayyidina Umar, he saw someone praying very quickly. He said, Ya hadha laqad taffafta. He said, oh, this man, you have committed tatfif. You didn't fulfill the right of Allah, you didn't give in full. So whenever you're giving right to others, if you don't give the full amount, you're falling short. Yeah? So the right of Allah, the right of your parent, the right of your neighbor, the right of your spouse, the right of as employee. When you're working, 9 to 5 you work and you get payment. So if you come at 9:10, 9:29, so this is also tatfif. Because you get full payment, but you did not give full hours, 9 to 5. So this is a form of tatfif. So when you're getting your wages, you have to be very careful. When you're when you're building things, many times people, they build houses, but the quality of the cement or the bricks they use is not the right one, and people die. So if you go to many Muslim countries, you will find huge building falling down, collapsing, because the foundation is not deep inside the earth, or the quality was very bad. So when you do tatfif, there's a risk. If you go to any mechanics, car mechanics, technicians, computer, those who fix the computers, any device, most of them, they cheat, because they know you have no experience in the job they do. So most of the technicians, the garages, when you go to them, they do tatfif. So wailul lil mutaffifin includes all of this. The teachers includes everything. It's not only weighing and measuring. It's not only weighing and measuring. Whenever you give, you try to give full amount. Whenever you receive, always you will get the full amount. You will demand full amount. So Allah said, wailun. Woe to, this is dua against someone. Woe to al-mutaffifin. Destructions to al-mutaffifin. Who are they? الَّذِينَ إِذَا اكْتَالُوا عَلَى النَّاسِ يَسْتَوْفُونَ. Those when they give, الَّذِينَ إِذَا اكْتَالُوا عَلى النَّاسِ وَيْلٌ لِلْمُطَفِّفِينَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا اكْتَالُوا عَلى النَّاسِ يَسْتَوْفُونَ وَإِذَا كَالُوهُمْ أَوْ وَزَنُوهُمْ يُخْسِرُونَ. When they give less. يُخْسِرُونَ. Khasara means to minus, to decrease, or to make a loss. أَوْ وَزَنُوهُمْ يُخْسِرُونَ. when they have to receive by measure from others, they demand full amount. So the first ayah, Allah begins the surah with dua for destructions, punishment for those who give less to others. And these people, Allah calls them, they are like double-faced in their dealings. When it comes to their own right, they want the whole amount. When it comes to giving to others, they give less. So these are two-faced. Because it's human nature, whenever it is your right, you want full amount. You will find, for example, the child, he wants his parent to look after him, to do whatever he asks. But when his mom asks to do something, he will disobey. You will find the husband, he wants his full right, and the wife, she wants her full right. But when it comes to the obligation or the right she has to give to others, she falls short. So this is the shortage, the curtailment. So you curtail the others, the right of others, but you want your due in full. So when they give measures to others, they try to cheat, they try to defraud, they try to trick, they try to play around with the rules. And you'll see that a lot of wealthy people also, they do this. They evade the tax system, for example, because they know how to manipulate the system, the rules. So Allah said, why are they doing this? Why someone will play with the rules, will try to trick others, to cheat others? Why? So Allah tells us the reason. أَلَا يَظُنُّ أُولَٰئِكَ أَنَّهُمْ مَبْعُوثُونَ. Do they not think that they will be raised up from their grave, resurrected? لِيَوْمٍ عَظِيمٍ, on a great day. يَوْمَ يَقُومُ النَّاسِ, the day when everyone, every human being will stand before their Lord, the Rabbil Alameen. So now what is the reason why people will trick and cheat and they want to maximize their profit at the expense of others? Why? Because their belief in Akhirah is very weak. Because in this life, even if you own the whole of London, or you own the whole, of England, it is nothing. You're going to leave it. If you make a lot of profit, it's nothing. So if you knew, you will not trick anyone, you will not try to maximize your profit at the expense of others. If you knew, you will be resurrected, and this is a short life, temporary life, transitional life. It's just one stage of our life. Just like we were in the womb of our mothers for 9 months, that's one stage. You came out, you stay here 60 years, 70 years, you move on to the next stage. So why is in this short period of time, why you want to play games with the lives of others? You decrease what they deserve. You give less than what they deserve. Why are you doing that? So the reason they forget, they أَنَّهُمْ مَبْعُوثُونَ, that they will be raised up from their graves. They will die and they will be resurrected on a great day when we will be standing in front of Allah one by one. All of us, we will be called one by one. كُلُّ نَاسٍ يَقُومُ كُلُّ نَاسٍ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ, in front of Rabbul Alameen. So Allah said, Kalla, no. Kalla means no and never. You should never forget that standing in front of Allah will happen. Kalla. Kalla is to negate what the previous statement, because they thought they will not be raised up, stand in front of their Lord. So Allah said, Kalla, no. You will stand in front of your Lord. You will be raised up. Don't forget that. Kalla. Kalla stands for all of this. Then the next passage, Allah said, Inna kitab al-fujjar lafi sijjin. Verily, the record, kitab means writing, something that has been written in a book. The record of deeds of fujjar, of the evildoers, is in sijjin. Sijjin is the lowest pit of hellfire. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا sijjin, and what may let you know of sijjin? How do you know about sijjin? What do you know about sijjin? مَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا sijjin? كِتَابٌ مَرْقُومٌ. It's a book is a record, it's a written book, marqum, and it's digitized and inscribed. It's like in our time, when you send a WhatsApp message, it says it's encrypted, marqum. No one else can have access to it. So that's what marqum means, something that's encrypted, that is preserved, that's protected completely in a safe location. And the scholars, they say, this place is where the soul of the disbelievers and their deeds will be kept. So when we die, the soul leaves the body, so it will be kept in that sijjin. Sijjin. This is a prison. Their soul, because the soul is what tastes the punishment or the enjoyment. So the soul and the deeds, the books, the files, the records, everything will be kept in sijjin, safe custody. كلا إن كتاب الفجار لفي سجين وما أدراك ما سجين. So when this happens, wailun, Allah says, woe to those who denied the existence of the day of judgment. Woe to them. Halak, wailun, al-halak lahum. Wailun, woe to them that they denied, they did all of this mischief on earth, tricked people, deceived them, killed them. They did all of this because they denied that there will be day of judgment. wailun yawma idhil lil mukaththibin alladhina yukaththibuna biyawmiddin. Those who deny the day of judgment. Those who deny the day of judgment will occur, will happen. They would not cheat in their scale, in their business transactions, if they knew, if they believed. So Allah says, "Alladhina yukadhibuna biyawmiddin." And who are these people who will believe, who will deny the day of judgment? Who are they? Allah says, وَمَا يُكَذِّبُ بِهِ إِلَّا كُلُّ مُعْتَدٍ أَثِيمٍ. The day of judgment will only be denied by mu'tad. Al-mu'tad huwa alladhi jawaz al-hadd, the one who transgressed all bounds, all limit, all boundaries. He passed all the boundaries, immersed in sins. Athim. Athim is the one who is like engrossed in all kinds of sins and disobedience to Allah. That is the one who denies. So when someone is excessively committing sin, this is called athim. He is addicted to the sin. Mu'tadin athim. And now this person, if he is reminded of Allah and the ayat, the Qur'an is recited to him, he said, إِذَا تُتْلَى عَلَيْهِ آيَاتُنَا. When our ayat is recited to this person, he said, أَسَاطِيرُ الْأَوَّلِينَ. These are ancient stories, fabrications written down. These are tales, he said, asatir. Actually, this asatir, the English word story, comes from stura. Stura is one, asatir is plural. So there are few words in the Quran that has originally from non-Arab words. One of them is stur. Stura, story. You see, stura, story. And then asatir is the plural of stura. So it was Arabic, it was made Arabic word. It's a shared common language. Asatir comes from stura, which is a story in English. So they say when they are reminded, you read the ayat to them, they say these are just asatirul awwalin. These are fables, fabrications, ancient awwalin, the ancient stories. Awwalin, asatirul awwalin. إذا تتلى عليه آياتنا قال أساطير الأولين. Why they're doing this? So Allah is telling us that in the next ayah, why would someone be so arrogant that he rejects the Quran, the reminder? Why? Because every human being has been programmed to know Allah, to love Allah, to fear Allah, to fear death. It is innate belief, it's called inborn belief. All of us, we have this inborn, we are born with it. Why these people, they are acting like this? They are fujjar. they're openly disobeying Allah. You tell them whatever you want, they will not even care. They think it is like they think they will not die, they will not go to the grave. Why they act like this? So Allah says, Kalla, no. Bal rana ala qulubihim. You know? So these wicked people, they reject the verses, the Qur'an, the Tawheed, the Akhirah, the truth, because there is rust on their heart. Because of the excessive sins they have committed, their fitrah, their natural predisposition that Allah has instilled in them is covered. Ran ala qulubihim. Ran means their innate fitrah is covered with rust. Because as a human being, even without receiving wahy, revelation from Allah, you should know, you should be able to distinguish right from wrong. You will find someone who is occupying a land, killing people, displacing them, evicting them, and he thinks he is right. And he convinced himself like he's absolutely right and he has every right on the subhanallah. It's like you say, where is the humanity? What happened to these people? Where is the aql, the conscience? What happened? Because sometimes it's difficult to understand where they're coming from. So subhanallah, the qalb has been completely covered. Ala qulubihim ma kanu yaksibun. The excessive sins they commit, they lost their fitrah, their humanity, their qalb, their mind, their faculties, everything. They cannot distinguish oppression, oppressor and the victim. This one is a victim, this one is an oppressor. They cannot understand it. So that's why Allah said, when the ayat recited to them, when they are reminded, when they are told, they say, Asatirul awwaleen, go away. Why they're doing this? Bal rana ala qulubihim. On their heart there is rust. Rust, ran in Arabic is when you put metal outside, you leave it for a while, even your car, it will rust, the color will change. This is rust. So the human being, when you commit excessive sins, the feelings of humanity will go away. The conscience will die. So the sins will become appealing, killing will become murder, rape will become normal. So this is called tatabbu', that you normalize the unnormal things. You'll have animals behave even worse than animals. So Allah says, asfalu safilin, they are lower than even animals. The way they behave, they are wicked sinners. So that's why they're doing this. So their heart is covered with layers of darkness. And Rasulullah ﷺ, he explained this. He said, whenever we commit sin, the angels, they will put dot, black dot, dark, very dark spot on your heart. If you repeat, another spot. If you repeat, another spot, until it's completely covered. And the layers will increase. When the more you do, the more layers covering it. To the extent no good will go in, and the person is whenever they hear a reminder of akhirah or truth, it's like they want to vomit. Ishma'az, as Allah says, ishma'azza qulubul ladhi. Wa idha dhukira Allah, when they are reminded of Allah, ishma'azzat. Ishma'izaz is like you want to vomit. You hate it so much, it's disgusting to you. ishma'azzat qulubul ladhina la yu'minuna bil akhirah. Wa idha dhukira alladhina min duni idha hum yastabshirun. When they are doing wrong things, they rejoice. That's why they behaving like this. Wallah, sometimes it's just so shocking how some people behave. And even if you try to reason with them, they don't see it. Because their qalb is covered with layers. It is in a case. The heart is encased, enveloped with layers of these coverings, of this darkness. So their perception of reality is different than a normal human being. So they will not hold themselves to account. And so their heart, their ayn, As Nabi Musa said, اطمس على قلوبهم. They're dead. So كلا بل ران على قلوبهم ما كانوا يكسبون. على قلوبهم because of what they're doing. كلا إنهم عن ربهم يومئذ لمحجوبون. So on that day, Allah said, كلا إنهم عن ربهم. On that day, these people, they will be a screen or a veil or hijab between them and Allah. Hijab, mahjubun, as a punishment, as a form of punishment for them, between them and Allah. Allah will not want to see them. Innahum, them and Rabbihim, from their Lord, la mahjubun. There's hijab, there's a barrier, there's a screen between them and Allah. And this shows, Imam Shafi'i said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He's questioning the believers, they will see Him as a reward. Because when you have an audience with a king, with a prime minister, so it means He's pleased with you. But the disbelievers and the sinners, the evildoers, there is hijab between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is so angry with them. So once they are held to account, ثُمَّ then إِنَّهُمْ لَصَالُ الْجَحِيمِ. They will be made to enter into Jahim. They will enter into Jahim. They will be driven to Jahim. The angels will drive them. ثُمَّ then يُقَالُ. It will be said to them, the angels will say to them, هَذَا الَّذِي كُنْتُمْ بِهِ تُكَذِّبُونَ. This is what you have been denying. This, the fire that you see now, the Jahim, is what you have been rejecting. You refuse to believe. Now you're able to see it. Go and enter. إِصْلَوْهَا فَاصْبِرُوا أَوْ لَا تَصْبِرُوا أُدْخُلُوهَا. The angels, they will say, and they will try to resist. The angels, they will beat them up and push them inside. So that is the end of this passage. To summarize, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us what the disbelievers they do in this life, that they cheat and they trick and they deceive, and the reason they are doing that is because they give short measure or they trick others because of their disbelief or their rejection on the day of judgment, about the day of judgment. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that the record and the soul of the sinners and the disbelievers will be in Sijjin. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us the sins that we do, if we do it excessively, it will prevent us from seeing the truth. When we do sins excessively, it will prevent us from seeing the truth, following the truth, recognizing the truth. If we avoid sins, or if we remain in a pure state, we should be able to follow the truth, to recognize the haqq, and to seek guidance. Every human being has been equipped with the ability, with this power, and the tools to recognize Allah. Even the atheist, when they reject Allah, deep down they should know and they should believe in Allah. This is the reality. But because of the excessive sins, this reality is obscured. So the next passage, كَلَّا إِنَّ كِتَابَ الْأَبْرَارِ لَفِي عِلِّيِّينَ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا عِلِّيُّونَ كِتَابٌ مَرْقُومٌ. This passage is about the Abrar. Al-Bar. Bar is someone who is righteous, obedient, pious, good listener. So the child who is bar to his parent is the one who is obedient, kind. So the believers, that Allah always describes them as abrar, the plural of bari. So the abrar, Allah said, their record of deeds, their files, and their soul is in Illiyin. Illiyin, the highest point above the heavens, under the throne of Allah. That will be where their soul is placed. كَلَّا إِنَّ كِتَابَ الْأَبْرَارِ لَفِي عِلِّيِّينَ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا عِلِّيُّونَ. And what makes you know what is Illiyun? Do you know what Illiyun is? Do you know what Illiyun is? So their soul is in Illiyin. Ali in Arabic is the highest. Illiyin is the highest point. Their deeds and their soul and their jaza and their books will be in that place. What is Illiyin? Kitabun marqum. It's a book that is encrypted, inscribed, preserved. Who is preserving and observing it? Yashhaduhu. Allah said, it will be witnessed, attended. Yashhad, shuhud is to attend, to witness, to observe, to look after it. Al-Muqarrabun, the angels who are blessed with nearness to Allah. Muqarrabun. The elite of the angels, Al-Muqarrabun, will be attending, witnessing, observing and protecting these files and these souls of the believers. See, yashhaduhu al-muqarrabun. So it's a form of reward. These angels will be guarding this place. Yashhaduhu means they will witness, they will attend, they will observe, they are present day and night. Al-muqarrabun, those who have been blessed with nearness, near to Allah. Muqarrabun. So that is after their death. What about the day of judgment? كلا إن كتاب الأبرار لفي عليين وما أدراك ما عليين كتاب مرقوم يشهد إن الأبرار. Allah said, verily the abrar لفي نعيم. The abrar, they will be in na'im, in delight, in happiness. They will be enjoying. Where? على الأرائك. They will be sitting on thrones, reclining on couches, very high. They will be sitting there, talking to each other, socializing, facing each other. They are asking questions. يتساءلون أقبل بعضهم. They are reclining, enjoying. ينظرون. And they are looking around, looking at the sins, different places, the scenery of Jannah. ينظرون. Looking around them. Imagine the beauty. You have rivers, streams, gardens, waterfalls in front of them. And they have high couches, thrones, ara'ik, reclining on them, yandurun, and they are watching all of this. And they are socializing together. Ala al-ara'ik yandurun. Ta'rifu fi wujuhihim. Allah says, you will recognize on their face, you will recognize on their face, nadrah. Nadrah means radiation, like radiant, brightness, beaming with happiness. You know, when you're happy, people recognize happiness and sadness, distress on your face. When you are sad, there's gloom on your face. There are wrinkles on your face. When you didn't sleep last night, in the morning people, they could see from your face. So Allah says, ta'rifu fi wujuhim, from their faces, you will recognize, ta'rif, from their faces. You will see it on their face. The radiant, the beauty, the beaming of, the dazzling of light, the effect of happiness on their faces. على الأرائك ينظرون تعرف في وجوههم نظرة النعيم. So in this ayah, Allah is describing Jannah. The believers in the evenings, in the mornings, they are sitting on these chairs with their family members. They are face to face talking to each other. They are talking about back in the days in dunya. In Surah At-Tur, Allah explains this. Allah explains this. And as they are sitting around the cups, next ayah Allah is explaining, the angels, they will pass and the servant will give them drinks. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, تعرف في وجوههم نظرة النعيم يسقون من رحيق مختوم. Their drinks is from rahiq. It's a pure wine. Makhtum, that is sealed, stamped, completely sealed off. Khitam. Khatam is to seal something or to cover it or to stamp it. So no one used it before. So the servant, they are wildan, servant boys, serving them. Bi'akwab wa abariq, ibriq. They are ibriq and cup, the cups that are being served. Min fidda is made of fidda and gold. They will be served and yusqawn. They will be given drinks from this pure, precious, expensive wine. Rahiq. Makhtum, that is stamped. Khitamuhu misk. Imagine the cover, the lid is made of musk, perfume. Misk, the khitam, the lid of that, where the wine comes out, is made of perfume. It smells fragrance of misk, of al-musk, al-misk, khitam misk. So Allah said, in this, وَفِي ذَلِكَ فَلْيَتَنَافَسِ الْمُتَنَافِسُونَ. In this, people should compete, strive. They should have competition. When you come to the masjid, you should be in a competition mode. You should be competing with others. Come for Fajr, drive for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, walk. You are in a competition. فَلْيَتَنَافَسِ الْمُتَنَافِسُونَ. So, why Allah is saying this? Because at the beginning of the surah, all of us as human beings, we want to gain money, cheat others, make more money. And we are in competition for dunya. But Allah said, no, you should be in competition for this station in Jannah, whereby you will be served. You do nothing but eat and drink and rejoice and visit, go out and about, fly, go up to the highest level to your friends, come back down, and you will be served again. This is something that you should be competing with others, the pleasure of this. So, not for this dunya, not for mutaffifin. So this life, when people are competing in business, Allah said, mutaffifin, it's a fleeting, trivial life compared to the pleasure of akhirah. This is something worth your time, your competition, your energy. This is worth your attention. For this you should compete. So khitamuhu misku fi dhalika falyatanafasil mutanafisun. And then Allah said, وَمِزَاجُهُ. You know the drink they drink, mizaj means is blended or mixed. Mizaj. Mizaju min tasneem. That wine or the drink they is blended with tasneem. Tasneem. What is tasneem? Is aynan. It's a spring that comes from the highest point in Jannah. So that imagine the wine they drink is coming from that. Is blended with tasneem. Is mixed with tasneem. وَمِزَاجُهُ مِن tasneem. And that tasneem comes from aynan, from a spring. يَشْرَبُ بِهَا الْمُقَرَّبُ. Only those who are blessed with nearness to Allah will drink from that ayn, from that spring. Ayna يَشْرَبُ بِهَا الْمُقَرَّبُ. So this is the destiny of al-abrar. Al-abrar, the righteous, the pious people. And what they did in this life, the enjoyment they will have. So this is their destiny. And that's the end of that passage. So this passage gives us descriptions of the drink of those who are near to Allah. And it is the fragrance of the wine is from al-musk, from misk, al-misk, mixed with water from the spring of ayna yashrabu biha al-muqarrabun. And Allah is comparing this, indirectly He's comparing with this Jannah with this lower life. This life is low, is short, is temporary. Unlike Jannah, where you will have a lot of pleasure and enjoyment. So we should strive to gain that life, not this life. Yes, this life we should feed ourselves, work for our families, but our main attention should be on that. In the next ayat, Allah talks about the disbelievers, the sinners, the secular people, the elite, how they mock the believers. At that time and until today. And subhanAllah, this is amazing. You know, when you belong to the elite of the society, you look down on religion. The more wealthy you are, the more power you have, the more rich you are. When your family is, big family, the more you look down on Allah, on the truth, on the haqq, on the religious people. And this is the reality. And those top people in this dunya, they mock, they vilify the religious people. So if you are a professor in university, if you are a scientist, if you are, mashallah, doing well in life, most of the time, you have no connection with Allah. This is the reality. But not only that, you mock those who have connection with Allah. Because the religious people, most of the time, in the society, they are not doing that well in terms of dunya. Throughout history, it has been like that. The followers of the messengers, they are always the low class. And the poor people, they are always closer to Allah. The more rich you are, the more you are arrogant. The more powerful you are, the more you are arrogant. This is the nature of human being. So Allah say, Innal insana la yatgha. Human beings, they are arrogant and ra'ahu istaghna, because they see themselves as self-sufficient, independent, in no need. Today, if you get sick, you will be saying, oh Allah, help me, help me. If the airplane is about to crash, all of us will be crying to Allah. So it's the human nature. When you are top in this dunya, you achieve something in this dunya, subhanallah, is just life of arrogance. Even Muslims, if you go to Muslim countries, Muslim societies, the elite among the Muslims, you will never see them in the masjid. And they are more secular more liberal than other Muslims, the average Muslims. This is the reality. So subhanallah, these criminals, there's mujrimeen, when they see the believers, they mock them, they laugh at them, they wink their eyes, they ridicule them. So that's what Allah is telling us. So Allah said, Inna alladhina ajramu, these criminals that have committed excessive crimes, these elite people, Inna alladhina ajramu kanu min alladhina amanu yadhakun. They used to laugh at the believers. They used to mock the believers. That's what is happening in our time. The more religious you are, even within your family, the more they mock you. If the sister is wearing hijab, some families, they ridicule her. If the brother has beard and is practicing, people in his family around him, they mock him. And they call him fanatic, lunatic, all kinds of names. This is yadhakun, yataghamazun, yastahzi'un. This is what Allah means. It happens. It happened at that time. It will happen. It is happening now. It will continue to happen until the day of judgment. But subhanallah, on the day of judgment, the roles will be reversed when the reality comes. So yadhakun ala al-mu'minin. They used to ridicule and scoff at the believers. وَإِذَا مَرُّوا بِهِمْ, whenever the believers pass by them, a hijabi sister, a brother with beard, praying in the campus, doing some good deeds, reminding people, you're doing da'wah on the street. Whenever they see you, يَتَغَامَزُونَ, they wink their eyes. يَتَغَامَزُونَ, you know, whenever they pass, مَرُّوا بِهِمْ يَتَغَامَزُونَ, they wink. Al-ghamz is to wink your eye, or to use facial expression to ridicule someone. So there are different forms of ridiculing. Winking your eye, sticking out your tongue, facial expression, pointing your fingers. يَتَغَامَزُونَ. This is all mockery. It's all mockery. وَإِذَا انْقَلَبُوا, when they go back to their families, إِلَىٰ أَهْلِهِمْ, when they return to their families, أهلهم can be their families, or their followers, or their associate, the inqalabu ila alin fakihin, they rejoice at the mockery. When they kill or they humiliate or they dehumanize, they take pleasure in this. Fakihin. Fakihin means they take pleasure in doing this. And subhanAllah, that's what is happening in our time. The believers are ridiculed, are subjugated, displaced from their lands, and people are mocking them, demonizing them wherever you look. This is the nature of this dunya. There is haqq and batil. There is contention between them, haqq and batil, the truth and the batil. So inqalabu ila ahlim, they return to their people and they take pleasure in doing this fakihin. Or inqalabu ila ahlim fakihin means when they go back to their families, to their children, they are enjoying. The children are on their computers, on their games. The father and the mother, they are talking. They are not worried about next life. Yeah, إِنَّهُ كَانَ فِي أَهْلِ مَسْرُورًا. He was one of the reasons why Allah will punish them, because they did not have concern for akhirah. In this dunya, إِنَّهُ كَانَ فِي أَهْلِهِ مَسْرُورًا. If you compare this to the Muslim life, the Muslim family, the believers, they say, إِنَّا كُنَّا فِي أَهْلِنَا مُشْفِقِينَ. We used to be worried about our families, concerned about our children, whether they will end up in Jannah, whether they will be believers. And this is the nature of Muslims. The Muslims, they are always worried about their children, about their offspring. Even the messengers. Nabi Yaqub says, مَا تَعْبُدُونَ مِن بَعْدِي. What are you going to worship after I die? Nabi Ibrahim says, وَصَّى Ibrahim bani. Nabi Ibrahim, he gives wasiyah to his, even though he's a prophet, his son is a prophet, they're always worried about next life, about their children. But the believers are not like, the disbelievers are not like that. انقلبوا إلى أهل فاكهين. They go back to their families. Everyone has their own devices. And subhanAllah, now some Muslims are like that. You go to a home, subhanAllah, everyone there on their mobile. This one has mobile. Everyone eating popcorn, enjoying, watching a movie. This should not be the lifestyle of a Muslim. The Muslim should be worried about his children, their safety in this dunya and akhirah. Always, you're worried. Just like when your child is outside, now in the night, you're worried. Even if he's a big man, you're worried about. So we should be worried about akhirah. انقلبوا إلى أهل فاكهين. So this is one of the descriptions of disbelievers, of sinners. They settled in this life because وَرَضُوا بِالْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا, as Allah said. They are pleased with this life. This life is be all, the end of all, the end of everything for them. So رَضُوا بِهَا وَاطْمَأَنُّوا. They are relaxed, they are tranquil, they are at peace. But the Muslim is not like that. The Muslim has no security in this life, has no sense of security for himself and for his children. You have no sense. Allah, when He described the believers, Allah said, وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْتُونَ مَا آتَوْا وَقُلُوبُهُمْ وَجِلَةٌ أَنَّهُمْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ رَاجِعُونَ. They're always wajilah, in a state of fear. You know, أَفَأَمِنُوا مَكْرَ اللَّهِ. Do they feel safe from the punishment of Allah? فَلَا يَأْمَنُ مَكْرَ اللَّهِ إِلَّا الْقَوْمُ الْخَاسِرُونَ. So having a sense of security is not a trait of the believer, is not a description of a believer. وَإِذَا انْقَلَبُوا إِلَىٰ أَهْلِهِمْ انْقَلَبُوا فَاكِهِينَ. وَإِذَا رَأَوْهُمْ. When they see the believers, قَالُوا, they say, إِنَّ هَؤُلَاءِ لَضَالُّونَ. This group of people, these believers, these fanatics, they are misguided. They are terrorists. They label them with all kinds of labels. لَضَالُّونَ. So Allah say, وَمَا أُرْسِلُوا عَلَيْهِمْ حَافِظِينَ. They were not sent as hafidin, as watchmen, guardians on the believers. Why do you care if the believers are dalun? Allah did not send these disbelievers as guardians. They behave like as if the believers, because most of the time they are the poor, the low class, you know, the downtrodden in the community. Even in Muslim countries, the practicing people are always the poor people. Those who are in the masajid are the poor people. Those who are close to Allah are the poor people. So the elite, they will mock them, they will humiliate them. They say, La dalun, these are, you know, misguided people. These are fanatic people. These are, so they label them. Allah said, وَمَا أُرْسِلُوا عَلَيْهِمْ حَافِظِينَ. They were not sent as guardians over them. They behave like they are guardians. So they write the rules, they pass the laws to control the believers. And that's what we see in our time. So the more wealthy the Muslim is, the more secular he is, the more liberal he is. And they are in the leadership positions, in the parliament, in the government, in legislative assembly, in the judiciary. They are in control, as if they are guardians, they are watchmen over the believers. So Allah said, what will happen on the day of judgment? Today, the day of judgment, فَالْيَوْمَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Those who believed in dunya, فَالْيَوْمَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا يَضْحَكُونَ مِنَ الْكُفَّارِ. They will be laughing at the disbelievers. It's a tit for tat. So
is a payment. And when they are laughing at them, they will be sitting on high thrones, ara'ik, couches, sofa seats. They will be reclining, ala al-ara'ik, sitting on this, and they're watching TV, a screen, they're watching on the monitor. It's like this dunya. You can watch an event that's happening in Australia right now. So the people of Jannah, they're sitting on these big couches, big thrones, and they are looking at the disbelievers who used to humiliate them, oppress them, mock them. They are sitting on this throne, yandurun, and they're looking at them, and they say, Hal thuwibal kuffar? Has the disbelievers been paid, rewarded, recompensed, punished, ma kanu yaf'alun, for what they've been doing to us? And they're watching as the punishment is going on. Imagine your enemy who used to torture you, now is the turn. He's in front of you. The distance between Jannah and Jahannam is very far. But subhanAllah, Allah will show them. It's in front of them. They're just sitting on the thrones. Ala al-ara'ik yandurun. And they will say, they're looking at, in front of them, yandurun. And they're saying, Hal thuwibal kufar? Are not the disbeliever paid fully for what they used to do to us? So as a revenge, like Allah wanted to show them, have they not received the payment, what they deserved, what they did to us? And that's the end of the surah. It's a question mark. The answer was not given because the answer is obvious. So your enemies are in front of you. They are now the poor, the destitute, those who are in punishment, in prison. Yesterday they were the elite, the top guys, the ministers. Now they are the lowest of the low in hellfire. And the believers, they are just sitting there enjoying. So in this ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us lots of lessons. So the abrar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us they will be in the highest, their soul and their records while they're in the grave will be in Aliyyin, the highest station of Jannah. And once they are resurrected, they will be enjoying in Jannah. They will be given drinks, food, they will be served. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, the one who wants to compete for anything, he should compete for this. If you want to compete for anything, compete, strive, work hard, put effort for that station where you will be honored, you will be dignified, you will have this. Compete for that one, for that station. So this life is very short. Even if you are deprived, you don't have a good job, you don't have prestige, you don't come from high income family, high net worth individuals, don't be sad about it. It's trivial. This life, hayatul doon, is called doon. Dunya comes from doon. Doon means something that's petty, that is worthless. Whether you are, today you have the weapons, you're destroying your enemies, you're killing the Palestinians, you have power, you have the whole world with you. The oppressor and the victims, they will be in graves very soon. So it doesn't matter. Yes, all of us, we want to have a good life. Actually, it's not a real life. The people who are killing and those who have been killed, they will be in the grave. Those who have killed Palestinians in 1948, in 1967, all of them today, they are in graves with their victims. And today, the killing, the massacre, the genocide is going on. All of them very soon, all of us, we live this life. So وَفِي ذَلِكَ فَلْيَتَنَافَسِ الْمُتَنَافِسُونَ. We should all compete for the akhirah. So the scholars, they say, مَنْ أَرَادَ سَعَادَةَ الدُّنْيَا, whoever wants happiness in this life, فَلْيَنْظُرْ إِلَى مَنْ دُونَهُ. Look at those who have less than what you have. وَمَنْ أَرَادَ سَعَادَةَ الْآخِرَةِ فَلْيَنْظُرْ إِلَى مَنْ فَوْقَهُ. Look at those who are above you in terms of spirituality, religiosity, good deeds. If you want happiness in this life, don't compare yourself someone who is driving better car, better house. If you want happiness in akhirah, it's the opposite. someone who is in the first row in Fajr, someone who is doing good deeds. Compete with that one. You will be happy in Akhirah. Don't compare yourself with the one who is smoking, drinking, if you want success in Akhirah. Don't say, at least I'm not smoking. At least I'm not drinking. At least I have not committed zina. At least I have not deceived. Don't say that. You should say, oh, I didn't wake up for Fajr. So compare yourself to those who are better than you. You will be happy in Akhirah. Dunya, you look at those who have less healthy, less money, less. So when you are healthy, compare yourself with those who are disabled. Because you are able, you have physical body, you have the ability. Compare yourself with the disabled. Those who have no legs, those who have no hands, those who are blind, you will become happy. Say, Alhamdulillah, I'm not blind. Alhamdulillah. So, فَلْيَتَنَافَسِ الْمُتَنَافِسُونَ. And finally, the last lesson we learn from this, that the sira', the battle between the haqq and the batil, the believers and disbelievers, will not end. And normally, generally speaking, the disbelievers, the sinners, the criminals, they will have the upper hand in this dunya. This is the most of the time they have the upper hand. So because this is their Jannah, so they are the more wealthy, they have the more power, they have more security, their city is more safe, their land more prosperous. The believers are tested, tried. The more you practicing, the more religious you are, the more you will be tested. The messengers, they suffered. Nabi Ayub, Nabi Yaqub, Nabi Yusuf, all of them, Nabi Muhammad, all of them, they suffered. Abu Bakr, Umar, the scholars, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Ahmed, Imam Abu Hanifa, all of them, they went to prison. Some of them, they died in prison. So the criminals who mock, vilify, label the believers, their role will be reversed on that day. So we should take, at least this gives us solace, gives us comfort, this gives us the haqq, the surah. Sometimes win-win, but most of the time they have the upper hand. So inshallah we should realize that. But it does not mean we should submit. We should always strive to improve ourselves. We should always struggle to prevent the batil, stop the genocide, speak up for those who are madhlumeen. So inshallah when we do that, Allah will help us. Wa jazakumullah khair, barakallahu feekum. Inshallah we'll continue next week. So if you have any questions, inshallah you can ask before the adhan. Okay,
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر